What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Next Wave podcast. I'm one of your hosts, B. Zanny, joined by my co-host, D. Woody. And today we've got a deep episode for you guys, a nice girthy one, covering Major 2 and the latest matches of the CDL, as well as RLCS Birmingham. And we're going to start off with some quick hitters as well. So it's going to be a great episode, a long one, as we've kept y'all waiting for a bit here. Make sure to tune in. Let's get right to it. All right, Dak, we've got a meaty episode to cover here, but first and foremost, how you doing, man? You had a birthday 2 days ago. How was it?
I'm getting some gray hairs now, as y'all can see. I'm 26, man. Just getting old. This is the first year where I've looked at 30 and thought, shit, you know?
Fuck.
Like, god damn, there it is. So,
whether or not you want to have kids, you're closer to having kids than you are being a kid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough reality. But it was cool. It was a chill week. Went out, had some dinner with the pops. This weekend I'm sure I'll do something. So lots of good esports going on recently that we've been watching, which we'll get into. So that's been fun. And yeah, just playing Rivals in Rocket League, man. And Verdansk.
Yeah. And some Verdansk. Yeah, I'm excited to play some Verdansk today.
Yeah, me too.
Still only played those few games, and
same.
I was watching Jev's solos and spectating solos videos, and I'm like, fuck, I need to play some solos, because like other games, like you just play solos and you're just like, I want to play with like battle royales, but like on this game, there's like an actual flow you can get into where you drop, you get your money, load out, grab a bounty, chase your bounty, kill him, buy a UAV, grab a bounty, chase a bounty, UAV, bounty, chase it. Like there's a flow in solos that I want to try and get into as well. But
do you think Warzone's always been fun? They just been dropping shit maps and stuff? Because I got on, it felt like Verdansk. I didn't expect to be hooked.
Yeah, what's crazy is in Jev's latest video, he said that he doesn't even think Verdansk is the best map that they've made, which I thought was blasphemous. Yeah, I just think it got so far away from the battle royale genre towards an arcade genre, like the arcade style.
It just became
all the types of opportunities to get bought back and gulag entry tokens, and it became hella buildings that you're just taking sub fights with, and a bunch of ARs that didn't move. I mean, it's always been easy to shoot in COD, but yeah, with season 3 coming out, we had Verdansk, we got firing range coming back, we got some other maps coming in that look pretty mid. But we have obviously the HDR, the Kilo, the Growl, the AMAX making a return for Verdansk, but obviously that's not going to do anything to the competitive scene. But overall, I mean, I think on Steam at least, COD saw its highest player count ever the other day.
That's crazy.
Whenever Verdansk dropped.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Since I think ever, but since launch, obviously.
Right.
So. Obviously people are playing it. I was having fun for the hour and a half that we played the other night. So, I mean, if you can get in that groove, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
It feels normal. The only thing that is different is obviously the movement. They tried to bridge a gap between BO6 and old Verdansk.
Yeah, they did.
The bunny hop's not there, so like it doesn't feel the exact same, but it feels pretty fun. The TTK is really fast. It's definitely faster than it was, but it still plays pretty similar than it used to. The only difference I think is also with loadies, you would get your overkill loadout, and then once the other one came down, you would grab your ghost class and swap it. That's not a thing anymore because we have wild cards with overkill now, and so you can have overkill and ghost on the same class. But one thing I actually did think of, and this is definitely not anything new, people have already thought of this, but I didn't, is you could do a gunfighter class.
Yeah.
Like you could you could grab your gunfighter Kilo or gunfighter M4 first, and then go and grab your ghost class second, and you have a eight attachment AR. And
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that either.
But I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, honestly. But
I mean, yeah, we were beaming with our classes, so
yeah. And I'm actually, I'm taking off the silencer and
really. I had a comp on. I had a comp on my XM4, and it was fine.
I'm putting the one, because on the Kilo, dude, those first 3 or 4 bullets are bouncy, and then it straightens out. So I'm going to put that, I don't remember which compensator it is, but it has the first shot recoil.
It's probably ported.
Yeah, it's either ported or muzzle. One of them does much more in the first bullet. But yeah, other than that, Season 3, nothing else crazy really came down the pipeline. It's really just Verdansk, firing range, and all the OG guns coming back.
Yeah, as far as multiplayer, firing range, you said. I feel like there's something we're missing. There was like a new feature or something. Oh, they changed the movement for like slide to prone, I guess.
That's a bug.
But it was a bug.
Yeah, if you're on tap to slide, which I've always been on tap to slide, it's nothing happens.
That's right.
So I think it's just a bug for people who are on hold to slide that it wasn't working. Yeah, or hybrid. So yeah.
And then they nerfed the Jackal, apparently.
Yeah, so they nerfed the Jackal medium long range pretty much, but they actually buffed it close range technically.
So it just shreds up close.
So yeah, they just, if anything, I don't think it's gonna change up the meta that much. If anything, you just won't have those moments where people are like, "That was a sub."
Yeah,
yeah. So I think based off of what I've heard and seen, it should be good. But obviously, the pros aren't going to be playing on that till probably after this tournament. So like, they probably won't be playing on that patch for a while.
Yeah. Well, dope. You want to hop into some quick hitters?
Yeah, so other than the Season 3 update, we had a Kason Halo tourney. So that was the top 4 teams, FaZe, Optic, Shopify, and Space Station. Yeah, Space Station. And Shopify ended up pulling it out. Optic came second, SSG third, and FaZe fourth. Obviously, getting fourth at that is nothing to hang your head on, because it's the top 4 teams, so obviously someone's going to get fourth. But other than that, I think Optic definitely had a chance to win. They came through the winner's side, and then lost both series.
Not just a one. They didn't have a reset.
They just did one BO7.
Yeah,
right?
That was dumb.
Yeah,
and I don't even think the Optic guys were ready for that. Like, they thought for sure there was going to be a reset. And then they were like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Yeah, they ended up losing in the finals. But Shopify are looking really good right now. I mean, they've got 2 vets,
look incredible.
With Frosty and Royal 2, and then they've just got some up and coming demons who are hungry to prove themselves with Last Shot and Cycle. So, right, Cycle, right? Yeah. He was on their team last year, right? Cycle, Suppressed,
I think so, yeah. And
Mental, and one other.
Billy Mental.
Yeah. Billy Mental. So he stayed on there and then got 3 goats around him. So it's definitely looking like the Halo seasons have gone. And hopefully it's not another second.
Yeah, for real.
For Optic, but they'll figure it out. I think it was a test of just kind of their endurance and mental over the course of that stretch of the day. So yeah. It's also weird going from round 1 to finals in one day. Probably, you know, they're probably used to winning a couple matches and then being able to review and get ready for another day. So
yeah.
But still, Shopify showed up, won it. I think it was what, 50K total prize pool or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Shout out Kason, man.
Good little payday, man.
He was on Around the Bar with Hitch, and he said, you know, he hasn't made a dime from any of these tournaments he's throwing. Yeah. It's just pure love and passion for the game. So shout out Kason for throwing these events. But it was fun to watch, because that we've just been watching those online open series, that, you know, the 2K-esque things. Yeah. And it was nice to see a little LAN
and it
preview.
Went so much smoother than COD did with the Kason tourney, because Halo is a complete game. Imagine that.
Yeah. And yeah, so Major 1 for Halo here in Arlington is in 2 weeks, I believe. It might be either this coming weekend or the next. So we'll look forward to watching that as well. Another quick hitter is the Marvel Season 2 update. They did a lot of changes. They took away a lot of team ups, added different team ups. We've got Emma Frost coming into the hero
Mommy.
rotation. This is insane work from what is their name? I forget.
NetEase
NetEase.
Studios.
Insane work. They're definitely, you can tell that they're of the Asian culture with the type of skins
Yeah, bro.
and character models that they're putting in. They made her a out like not
Think
an
of
hour
like a
like an
muscle
hourglass.
mommy.
Yeah,
Like she be in the gym.
they put Pineapple Brat in the game,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
and the skin that they added on the battle pass for her is literally covering half of her tits.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's
just
insane.
insane.
I
Like
just
they
it's one thing to do that in a game, but this is Marvel, bro. Like there's a bunch of little kids playing this game and they just continuously pump out Gooner skins left and right, bro. I don't know how to
they're
feel
like
about it.
they saw Overwatch and the Widowmaker lore, and they were like, "Hey, we
They're
got
like,
you
yeah,
guys even
yeah,
better."
we're gonna one up this. Just keep making
Yeah.
blonde baddies every season.
But the season 2 skin lineup in general is really, really dope on that battle pass. They
Yeah.
have the arachnid
Widowmaker.
Spider-Man skin.
Not Widowmaker. I thought you were
No,
talking about the Black
not
Widow
the
skin. That
no,
one's
no, no,
sick too.
the Spider-Man skin where
Yeah.
it's like it has like the
It's
the
like
16
tribal.
eyes on it. Yeah, I think that's a skin actually based off of one of the Insomniac
Yeah,
in the
that's sick.
games. I've seen. I knew it looked familiar. It was in the Spider-Man games.
They got the Psylocke and Magic like retro X-Men suits.
Yep,
Those look
yep,
sick.
those are fire.
They got like Captain America in like a Homelander suit looking skin. It's pretty sick.
Yep.
So
So yeah, they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be so easy for them to make skins. Like I said that whenever the game dropped, like
Mhm.
dude, they're gonna have such good skins for these characters. They have so much to go off.
And I
of
love
and
that
so
they
much to get
give
creative
out
with.
they give out so many skins. Like the
Yeah,
little
they make it
$3
easy.
pack was easy. You get a costume coin, you can get almost any skin in the shop from it.
Yeah, I need to log in.
There's a free Mantis skin coming with the event coming up, and it's probably Mantis's coolest skin yet. She looks like Poison
Oh.
Ivy from Batman, but like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's pretty sick. And that's gonna be
Bet.
free. So like, they're doing really good on the customization side, cosmetics. They're doing good.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping that game. I think there needs to be something gameplay wise soon. I think.
Dude,
that
they
needs
tried it with that
recapture
clone
the
rumble.
audience.
It did not hit at all.
Not even that. Like I don't even really mean in terms of like an arcadey game mode. Maybe just a different game, like a
Yeah.
competitive game
Yeah.
mode, like a different type of game mode in general, like a hard point where like right now in Domination is one point, then you go to the next map and it's a different point. Like what if it was just a rotating
Oh
point?
yeah.
Things like that. But it is difficult with those kind of games to make different game modes. So, but we'll see. But we'll still be playing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but yeah, lots of
Um,
character changes too. Like it's gonna be a big update. I'm excited.
Yeah, a lot of team ups and character changes. So
Oh,
we'll see how
Namor.
that plays out. Yeah,
So,
Namor is now with
I
Hulk
saw-
and his
I saw
turrets
a
do gamma damage.
yeah, I saw a tweet that someone played it early and said Namor's laser turret is way better than the ice turret from the Luna team up. So like apparently he's about to melt, bro. Because I thought
Bet.
Luna's team up was already good with him.
It just sucks because Hulk is not, like
I
no
know.
one- no one
it
likes
takes a
playing Hulk.
special person to play Hulk.
it does, and not many. Even if so, I'm not even saying a good Hulk. Like just people playing Hulk in
Yeah.
general. Like you just don't see it that often.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They might have buffed him though, and I didn't read anything about him in the patch notes. But
I think they honestly they might have they buffed his movement speed, I know that. And then his shield recharges faster, I think.
Good.
So, yeah, maybe he's going to be picked more. We'll see.
Well, I hope so. But yeah, with that being said, those were our quick hitters. Let's jump into our Major 2 recap. We'll keep this very high level because what's more important is the events following the Major and the storylines that created. So you got the bracket pulled up?
Yeah. Let me go.
So just to, while you're doing that, just to set the stage here, we didn't have a game 5 in this Major until winners finals. which was the third to last match of the tournament. Unfortunately, the matches kind of got so boring that I didn't go on Sunday, which I don't regret, honestly. I'm kind of glad we didn't. I did waste $60 on a ticket for Sunday, but like looking back on it, I wasn't. I mean, it was a 4-0 final.
We had one game 5, bro, in an entire
finals.
Tourney.
Yeah,
that's so.
It was
crazy.
bad. So one of the main storylines going into this was obviously optics change and how that's going to affect them, and they're 0-18 going into this. And so they pick up Skies for Kenny and go into the major with Skies, Pred, Dashi, and Shotzi. But starting in winners here, a lot of there was one expected upset.
Don't forget we did day 1.
Oh yeah, we already covered day 1. That's right. So yeah, but just to recap here, Optic get a win over Minnesota Rocker with the new squad 3-0 with the.
Oh no. We did the top 4 winners day 1, and then day 2 was Optic Minnesota and all the loser matches. So we can start from there.
Yeah, bet. So Optic come in and 3-0 the Minnesota Rocker. It was kind of a slow start. Skies didn't. You could tell Skies had the nerves behind him playing for the green wall for the first time.
Yeah.
But regardless, it was a banger map 1 that went down to the wire. It was a really good search from Optic Texas, and then they take the control in the end. So they snapped their losing streak losers round 1 and are set to play Toronto Ultra round 2. Then we had Toronto Ultra versus Gentlemates. This one exactly as you would expect. Toronto were looking good leading up to the major, even though they got 3-0'd by New York. And so they absolutely pummel LA Gentlemates. And then we had Thieves, who got upset by the Boston Breach, going up against the Miami Heretics, and Thieves were able to take them down 3-1.
Dude, I still don't think Thieves looked all that good this day. Like, yeah, they won against Miami, but they just were off this whole tournament. Something was weird.
They were just a little off pace, it looked like to me. I think the pacing between Hydra and Envoy looked a little bit off. I just think usually when you see 2 subs on pace, they're somewhat at the same. They might not be on the same half, like, laterally on the map, but they're at the same yard line as far as how pushed up they are. Like, for instance, I remember seeing I think it was a P3 on Protocol where Envoy was pushed up like P1 and Hydra was pushing out Boat to P2. And so, like, I like the fact that they're pushing up, but that lack of communication and lack of pacing, because what Hydra's trying to do on that P3 is get out early and spawn them in the back. And what Envoy does by wrapping right is he blocks that heli side spawn, so the only spot they're going to spawn is either out past P1, like on the other side of the map, or in the back of P3 on the zip towards the zip side.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they have clear line of sight onto Hydra and a clear rotate to P4 without worrying about P3 straight in from Boat. And then so that lack of pacing, either telling Envoy to block or telling Envoy to get the fuck into that bottom dubs and block that bottom pool table spawn. So I think the pacing was a little bit off from them, but they're able to take down Miami 3-1. And then our last game of the day, the Falcons show up to get shit on. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. Yeah. Carolina 3 of them. And that leads us to day 2. Or day 3, rather. Day 3 started off in winners round 2. We had the Boston Breach going up against the Vancouver Surge. This is where we were questioning, are Breach really like that, or was it just an off day for the Thieves? And it was an off day for the Thieves indeed. They get 3-1 by the Vancouver Surge. Vancouver looking really, really good. Neptune kicking it into another gear, consistently performing and dropping those numbers and engagements, more importantly, on land. So, usually the game does slow down and on land, and it does, but that has not mattered for Neptune as he was still pushing pace. So that was really good to see and positive to see from the side of Vancouver.
Yeah.
But also we had FaZe versus Cloud9. FaZe were able to take them down 3-1. I can't remember. Let me click on this here. I'm trying to see if the maps were pretty competitive other than the one C9 New York. Yeah, so it was a close Hacienda, a close search, and then the map 4 got away from them a little bit, but that tends to happen with FaZe playing someone on the side and on red card. So nothing too surprising there. FaZe were looking really good. Obviously, when they 3-0 Rocker in winners round 1, you're not taking that too much. That's just more of a credit to FaZe being more talented. So you want to see a team like C9 New York, who just 3-0'd Ultra, see what that looks like. So this 3-1 for FaZe was very, very good, and no sweat. So then we get into the losers bracket. We had Optic Texas versus Toronto Ultra. This is the first, the real test. Minnesota Rocker were looking really, really. They were on a decline leading into this major, so it wasn't a surprise that Optic necessarily took them down. 3-0 was surprising based on both of these teams' prior trajectory. So Optic Texas had a real test against Ultra here, and it proved very worthy. They got shit on smoked.
Yeah, they should have. Honestly, they should have.
Really
they should have won the control. They
threw the control one round.
The control, dude.
And unfortunately, it was for an offensive win on their side, and it just flipped the momentum.
Yeah.
Pred, the only one positive on the side of Optic, and then a really good series from Beans and Kleenex. But Toronto just looked really good right now. I mean, we were watching scrims and everything of the new Optic squad, and Joe Deceives is a demon, dude. I mean, he's so good right now. He's definitely, in my opinion, a top 3 sub right now.
He might be one right now, dude.
In terms of like
him or Neptune or Hydra at times, but I feel like Joe Deceives has just been consistently for the last 2 months just frying.
Piecing, regardless of team performance at the at least. But yeah, they 3-0 Optic Texas with ease and move on to play Boston Breach. And then we had LA Thieves going up against Carolina Royal Ravens. We knew exactly what we were going to get this series. Even if Carolina played their best COD, there's just a mental block against the Thieves, and the Thieves own them.
No, this was the saddest shit I've ever watched.
9-1 or 9-0 or 12-1 or 12-0 map count for these teams.
It's got to be horrible, bro. And I'm talking 100-point club, 6-1, 6-2, 3-0. Like, they're getting clapped, bro.
Yeah, specifically this series. 250, 265, 6-1, 3-1. Like, holy fuck, brother.
No, I dead ass watched map 1, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go make lunch. Like, this is horrible. This is so sad.
It wasn't even close. And that was a shit stomping. But LA Thieves go on to play against Cloud9 New York in the losers bracket. Cloud9 were looking really good. They dropped to FaZe, and LA Thieves wasn't on their AA game, so I was thinking this might be a close series. But Thieves came out and looked like themselves in this series, and were able to get it 3-0. The respawns or the search and the control were close, but the last round in the control was not. The Thieves won it on, and then they almost 100-point clubbed them map 1. So this was a swift 3-0. Crimp and Sib still positive in this series. That's kind of weird. Oh, it's only by 1 kill, but still, that's kind of odd. Mac had a really, really rough series this go around. And we'll get into this later, but I definitely think a change should have been made on this squad, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. LA Thieves move on, and we'll go back up to the winners bracket here. The winners finals, or actually just move on to the elim round 4, actually. We had Ultra going up against the Thieves, and this is what we were expecting to be one of the best series of the tournament so far. Even though you think Thieves are like that, they, like we said, have not been playing like themselves all weekend. Granted, they are 3-0'd the last 2 opponents, and Ultra had been looking really good, so we were hoping for a banger series. But Ultra came to the plate and smoked them.
Dude, it was a clowning.
It was not close.
It was a clowning.
Not even close.
I could not believe it. I was
red
watching.
Carpet. Joe Deceives 56 and 38 with a 1.5. Like, it was 250 to 115, 6-4, 3-0 in the control. It wasn't even fucking close. Joe Deceives was saying, "I got dropped for that.
Yeah,
I got dropped for that." That's one of probably the best feelings ever. Like, as a player, that's got to be one of the best feelings.
And Ultra CEO was quote tweeting himself because earlier he said, that they'd be better than Thieves after the change, and. Yeah, no, this wasn't even fucking close. Like, they came out, punched them in the mouth, and never looked back. And Thieves had that same demoralized look on their faces. They couldn't believe what happened after map
And
1. They were laughing.
I fuck with Scrappy heavy, but I can't stand him whenever they get shit on.
Yeah.
When they get shit on, he's just like has a smirk on his face and it's like, holy fuck, that was ass. Like, you know, it's like I get that's like how he copes, but like I'd be fucking stone cold like pissed. Yeah. Like I'd be scared to like show my face after getting shit on like that.
But I love the dynamic on Ultra because like Kleenex and Insight, they're pretty chill. And then Joe, he has energy, but he talks like normal shit. And then Beans is like the ultimate shit talker.
You fucking shit.
Yeah.
You fucking shit, man. Why are you rotating?
They can't fucking trade me. They can't fucking trade me. He was fucking, dude, Beans is the best. But yeah, no, this was sad on the side of Thieves. Their listening was sad. They have so much dead air in their comms sometimes. I don't understand it. Like other teams, constant info's flying in. People are talking over each other. These dudes are just like calling out where people are, and then there'd be like 3 seconds of silence. Someone would die. Oh, he's top whatever. 3 seconds of silence. It's like they just didn't even want to play.
Because a week before this event, they had an online match listening that sounded fucking flawless. It was insane how good. It was exactly what you want to hear. And then we fast forward to this listening, and it was the most broken comms that we've ever heard. But so Thieves out top 4, securing a top 3 spot for Ultra. Going on to the winners finals, we had FaZe versus Surge. Finally, we get a map 5 out of a series. And this one goes all the way to a round 11, so did not disappoint. The story of this one was FaZe need to win hard points, or hang on to this Neslo capability, and so they're able to Neslo them and secure the Surge control and map 5 Surge. But overall, I mean, it was just a very, very close game. On the side of FaZe, Celium positive, even though with a 1.17 at that, even though they lost both of the hard points. That's crazy. So definitely a good series from Draza as well, even though the 0.89, he had second most damage in the lobby. Apoja with almost 14k damage for the loss.
Yeah, dude, he was frying. He was frying.
But yeah, they were going crazy. So Vancouver dropped down into the losers finals to play Ultra, and was hoping for a little bit more competitive series, but this was really just the Nasty Neptune show. This is where you want to see Nasty be able to step up, because he's not there to drop 100 kills like Neptune's has or anything, but he is there to provide stability and setups, play his life, guarantee spawns, and be able to take, he's got a really good arrow on the map. So being able to stay alive and create time and space, that's what a 1.38 with those interactions
says. Like Thanos.
And then obviously Neptune over 100 kills with a 1.3. That is just super insane, especially when you look at the other side of things. Kleenex had a tough series, so they were just winning the sub battles there.
Yeah, dude, I thought this series was going to be a 5-map thriller after the first 2 maps, and they were talking shit after every map. Like Neptune stood up, "Don't you ever?"
Yeah. Why I order?
Yeah. Yeah, and then Beans was talking shit after they won a map. Like I thought it was going to be a crazy series, but Vancouver closed out 3-1.
Yep. And that gives us the FaZe Surge finals, which, like I mentioned earlier, FaZe needed to brush up on their hard point if they were gonna, wrap it up under 7 games in the finals. If they played Vancouver again, it's exactly what they do, and they get it over quick. With the 4-0. Again, I'm kind of glad I didn't go on Sunday. And got to watch it from home because this was a DoorDash in a 4-0 fashion. Celium 1.7 in the finals over 98 kills in 4 maps. I mean, that's just, as an AR, that's just ridiculous. It's a red carpet versus a green carpet here. Simp had a good series. Celium had a good series. Just overall, everyone on FaZe was doing their thing, just looking flawless. Celium wins the MVP, and FaZe 3 in a row, hasn't been done since the Optic Dynasty.
Man, Cell's been looking really good. I remember at the start of the year when FaZe was kind of losing matches, they were saying he needs to pick up the pace, and he did, and he's frying. And he's just the best in the game.
Where you knew he was the best in the game on protocol control. They had already capped the P1 point. They're going to cap the P2 point. and they're 3-stacking it after like one or two dead. Celium picks up another. They call out there's a streak. He looks up, shoots the streak, and then pops 2 more.
Yeah.
He got a 3-piece while shooting a Hellstorm in the middle of it. Like, it was actually insane. He's a demon. And so FaZe, congrats to them. They move on to be 3-peats, 3 in a row, which hasn't been done since the Optic Dynasty, the T2P Dynasty. Mm-hmm. So very, very impressive, and I really hope that's all it is. We need new entertainment here. We need a new winner in this next major. Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. With every major comes roster moves. So.
Yep. We had some crazy roster moves. So just looking at the teams here, starting from the bottom up to the top. First off, Falcons made a change. They completely blew it up, except for Xnid, and they bring in 3 former world champions. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not. Pred, Arcides, and Priesta. They brought in 3 former champions and made one of the worst teams on paper that you could think of. Just based off of play style, it's just bad. Based off of slaying, it's just bad. You have 2 subs who can pick up kills and 2 ARs who can't, which is not a good mix.
Dude, so
that was one team change.
You have Clayster in your camp. How does that roster get made? Everyone knows that roster is dog shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they showed it yesterday. We'll get into that, but Xnid is still their best player, and they have 3 fucking world champions, and he's not one of them.
Yep. And so Priest obviously got dropped from LAG, so they made some changes. They brought in Fellow and Johnny. Do they? I hope they play today.
They do.
Bet. So really excited to watch Johnny play because he went like 50-8 on a map in Challengers at crazy. The major and won the major. And then Fellow's obviously been a good fosterer of young talent down there, and he's literally gone to Challengers, came back 3 years in a row. Yeah. MW2 to Florida, MW3 to the Ravens with Clay, and now this. Mm-hmm. So like 3 years in a row, he's been thrown back to Challengers and proved himself worthy. So we've seen some dog shit players in the league this year, like on rosters. So like he definitely deserves a shot rather than Priesta, rather than Lucky, rather than Kenny, rather than okay, maybe not Kenny.
Kenny might. But
like we've just seen some shit performances, right? Yeah. Rather than maybe even Cammy Awakening, like so. And then one team that made a slight change, like I mentioned, Lucky got dropped for Super. I don't think this is going to do jack shit. We saw Super. Now, granted, he's only gotten 1 match in the CDL, and when he was substituting for them last year or earlier this year, and he played like shit. So we'll see how they look, but I don't think it's going to do anything for them.
They were saying on the flank though, he's like in Challengers like a super high kill slayer.
Yeah.
So like if he could just translate
I didn't get the vibe at all from
I didn't either from the league match, so, but that was just a league match where he got subbed in last minute, so who knows. Now they're scrimming with him, maybe he'll get some momentum.
We'll see.
But I don't see them being much different.
And then the Rocker dropped Paul X, way overdue. Someone get Paul X a bigger jersey. Absolutely. They bring in Kenny from the Optic camp, who I think was a great fit for this squad. And the first match for the Rocker is Optic, who also made a change, dropping Kenny obviously for Skies. And then they end up, after this major, dropping Pred and bringing Hook back into the lineup. So I really do think that Shotzi said it on stream that they're not making any more changes. Like unless they go 0-18 again, they're not making any more changes. So
yeah, I don't blame him.
We'll see how they stick through the rest of the year. Ravens didn't make a change, but apparently we're eyeing Kenny for Vivid, which is crazy because Vivid's like their second best player, especially on LAN, and it fell through. So now they're just in this weird vibe where he was gonna get dropped, but now he's not. So they're sticking it out.
Dude, I have a feeling they're gonna be worse. They're just gonna start spiraling.
I don't think they're gonna be that good anymore. I think they'll still be okay in search and whatnot.
I think they'll be fine online, but they're just gonna keep doing this at LAN. They'll just get shit on.
I agree.
Yeah.
Breach didn't make a change. C9 didn't make a change.
Breach
I
should
think
have
they
made a
should
change,
have.
bro. Breach,
Yeah,
this is
Breach should've
exactly
made a
what I
change
was
for sure.
saying like 2 episodes ago. Breach is fake good, bro. They win a match like they did against Thieves, and then they get absolutely shit on the rest of the tournament, and then they're like, huh, well, we beat Thieves, we should stay together. And they're just going to get top 8 or top 12 the rest of the year. They're horrible.
Yep,
I hate
agree.
them. I don't want to watch them. I'm sick of Cammy and Big Wake.
There were rumors of Pred going to C9, and people were questioning, like, for who?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, you got Mac and Crimp. Crimp has been playing very well, especially in Search. He's been their hard carry in Search.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mac, who just got fucking shit on when when 2 of your teammates are positive, and one is like a 0.9 something, and they got a 0.7. Like he threw.
Yeah.
He costed.
Yeah.
And he's been costing ever since the first 4 matches of stage 1. He's looked good, and then ever since then he's fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like Nero.
Yeah.
So, like, we definitely should have seen some change there. Obviously, I don't think, just knowing Pred's personality, even if they offered him a spot, he still probably would have gone to Falcons because they're throwing him at least 250.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like
that's solid money, baby.
But yeah, those were all the roster changes that were made. So obviously no one on FaZe, no one on Surge, no one on Ultra, and no one on Thieves made any changes either. So we'll see how these qualifiers go. But we are recording as of Saturday, so yesterday there were some matches in the CDL. We'll go ahead and cover those. Just 3 matches we'll go over pretty quickly. We had the Vancouver Surge going up against the New Vegas Falcon roster, and our city's Xnid, Pred, and Priesta. Holy shit! If you covered the names, you wouldn't have thought they made any roster changes.
Yeah, yeah.
If you covered the other 3 names, chose Xnid with a 0.98 and everyone else not really doing too hot, you would have thought nothing happened over the past 2
Feels
weeks.
bad for Doom and Wixel, man. Get them back in here. You might as well.
Now we're saying, push to an American roster. And then we see this, we're like, yo, get the boys back, man.
Get
the
Doom
Whom
and Wixel
ugly ass back in the lineup, man. But yeah, that was this was a bad performance. It was ugly.
Dude,
250.
They had no
127
structure.
points on red card is sad.
Dude, they had zero structure from the first map to the last map. They just were running around aimlessly like chickens with their heads cut off.
They started up like 40-20, like around there. Like they were up 40-20, and they ended, with only 100 more points.
Yeah, it got out of hand quick.
We did see dealership S&D in this. I thought I wasn't looking. I was at work, so I wasn't paying attention to it in depthly, but I think it played a lot better than most people think, and I think it definitely played better than Vault as a watch. But I haven't played it myself, so I can't really touch on it. But it's better than Vault.
Dude, it just seemed like Falcons were just like running wherever, didn't really know where to be. They weren't getting trades at all. Pred would just hit random flanks at times and get red immediately. Like 3 people on Vancouver would be waiting on him to flank and just shit on him. Like it was so bad, dude. It was so bad.
Granted, I don't think they have many reps. Like I really
don't. Definitely
I don't
not.
think they have many reps. They might have 1, maybe 2 scrims under their belt. So like obviously, but like at the same time, we know what we're looking at from a talent standpoint and from a shooting your gun standpoint. Our city's, yikes, brother. Like. Like
32.
I don't know. I don't understand even picking him up in the first place, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I guess he was shitting in
yeah, he does. He shits in challengers, and then he gets back in the league and has the slowest pace of anyone else and drops like 30 kills. It's starting to look like he was a tiny terror merchant.
He was. But he also won in IW without them.
Yeah, but he was young and spry, you know.
That is true. They were the tiny terrors, him and Pristine.
Yeah.
Not so tiny terrors. Then we get into the Minnesota Rocker against Optic Texas. So we had the redemption game for Optic and Kenny.
This was an ugly.
I thought it was really, it was, but it ended up being a banger. It's really cool for Kenny because all of his teams have been in the Star Wars lore of lightsaber colors.
Yeah, they have.
He went from red to green to Mace Windu's purple. So that was pretty cool graphic to see. But this one goes all the way down to a map 5, round 11, and the boys in green clutch it up. Geo was doing everything he could this series with a 1.31 and 109 kills.
Yeah, that's
12
crazy.
and 6 in the map 5. But we had Shotzi 11 and 7 and Dashy at 9 and 6 in that map 5. Tough map 5 for Hook, but I mean, pulling out the W with that happening is awesome to see. And then honestly, for Skies, I think he's keeping the pace in this series because. I mean, 79 kills. I mean, it's 6 less than the next person, but that next person is one of their aggressive subs.
Yeah,
Estriel. So it's nice to see that Hook and Shotzi were really shutting down.
Hook and Shotzi have like the same stat line.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, like them. That's
pace.
That's 2 subs on the same page right there. You love to see that.
It helps, man.
I gotta say, it's good to see Geo pick up because he had a really bad stage last stage.
He did.
Nero at times was frying. He had a really slow start, so I was like, dude, Nero's still kind of shit. But no.
Well, the map 4, if like it would have been 250 to 150 if not for Nero, dude. Yeah. He was popping 3-piece left and right. Still went negative, but he was popping 3-piece after 3-piece. But Hook had a really good map, 31 and 25. Skies 24 and 21 to pull out that map.
Dude, Hook's POV is different. It's different.
If you look at the score line here, Optic go down 196 to 37, leading into the P1 on the 3rd rotation. They hold down P1 for 40 seconds. They get a clean rotation spawn trap into the back for P2. They lock down another 40 seconds, and then they rotate to P3 effortlessly and get another 40 seconds. It was beautiful COD being played to clutch up because they were down a whole hill going into that last rotation. So it was beautiful to see Optic, first match with the new team, and obviously Rocker had been struggling, but like that's a new Rocker with Kenny dropping, actually getting kills and playing for his revenge. So
I think this is nowhere near Rocker's top form. I think they're gonna be pretty good. I gotta say,
I think it's better than what they were though.
That map 5 was the trolliest shit I've ever watched, bro. There was
I was driving to the wedding while trying to watch it. I couldn't really.
Dude, there was a round where Rocker had 3 RC cars, and they just kept calling him in, and they just kept getting shot. Like, they did nothing with him. So then they're all in spawn together because they were just driving their fucking cars for the first half of the round.
And then play Rocket League, bro.
And then Optic won that round, and then in the last round, Estriel calls his car in Spiral. Kenny drops down right as he called his car in, and Hook shot the car, and Kenny died to it.
Yep,
and that was round 11. That was round 11.
I saw that.
So that's tragic.
That was a troll.
I mean, Kenny was probably thinking round 11 versus my old boys, like, I gotta go hard, and then he gets team killed by a fucking RC car.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Crazy series.
And then we get into the last series of the day. We had FaZe versus Ultra. I didn't get a chance to watch this one, but you texted me. Ultra won 3-2. Tell me how it went.
Yeah, it was a banger series. Ultra just are really fucking good at hardpoint. And then the S&Ds, like, the first one was around 11. Celium clutched up on the rock. I don't know if you saw that clip. It was all over Twitter. But Celium clutched around 11. Control was super close. I mean, Ultra's informed to actually, like, compete for a championship on Sunday. It's them, good. Vancouver, Thieves, and FaZe right now. And, Ultra's looking really good. Joe Deceives had crazy plays on the Hacienda hardpoint. Popping 2 pieces when you think he should be dead. He literally might be the best player in the game right now. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, so, just from a POV standpoint, right? At the very least, it's insane to watch. Like, the snaps are just insane. So he's definitely a scary player to go up against. But obviously, they lose the round 11 map 2 and are able to ice up in the map 5. Tough series from Simp here. He was in the blender, man. 102 deaths is a struggle with 85 kills. So tough series from him, but nonetheless, they did lose both of those hard points. So
but I mean, they're MVP, looking super coherent. Like, Ultra, you just watch their arrows on the map. They have great comms. They're all moving together. Like, this team is in form right now.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be fun to watch.
They've got 4 good arrows, which is what the top 4 teams look like right now. So But yeah, that's the up to date on COD. We got more matches coming today. Let's take a look at what those are. We have Toronto Ultra going against Boston Breach Rio. We got C9 New York versus Optic Texas.
That'll be good.
That's gonna be a banger. I hope we don't get shit on. I'm gonna say our win condition is a 3-1. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We might drop the one of the respawns, but we'll 3-1 them hopefully.
Yeah.
And then we have the Royal Ravens going up against the Gentlemates.
That'll be a good
for
game.
this series to see the new roster with Johnny and Fellow, and see if Johnny can bring that slaying prowess into the pros.
Yeah,
and then
we
got Vegas versus Miami.
3-0.
I hope Miami's just that bad.
Dude, nah. After yesterday, I genuinely don't think Falcons win a map this weekend. It's gonna be a minute. They looked so fucking bad.
All right, you're probably gonna be right.
Yeah.
There. look at the emotes that people have already put. The scum
Grayster, 3-0 scump, DoorDash on all these.
Yeah, there is literally. That's funny. But yeah, that's gonna conclude our CDL recap here. We're going to go ahead and get into Rocket League Birmingham, RLCS Birmingham. That just took place last weekend as well. Some good Rocket League being played, and Dak is going to take us through that.
Yes, sir. Let me share my screen with you real quick.
About to re-up on the...
All right.
On the things I put in my body.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
All right, here we are, RLCS Birmingham. As you guys know, our Gen G boys barely made it in after the crazy regional. Other than that, we got familiar faces: Vitality, K-Corp, Furia, Falcons. Twisted Minds, pretty good MENA region team. So, yeah, great comp. Swiss went about as expected. Vitality was shitting on teams. 3-0ing Furia, 3-1ing NRG. NRG just did not look like themselves this weekend. They didn't really control pace much. Beast mode was a little sloppy. I feel like Daniel still played well to his abilities. Atomic had his moments, which Atomic's always like that. Some games he goes off, some games he's iffy, but I think it really is just Beast mode didn't have the best series, and they needed to be better. So K-Corp started out 3-2 versus Wildcard, Oceania team. And I was thinking that was a little odd. Thought maybe K-Corp was going to choke on LAN. But they end up winning the whole tournament. So we'll get to that. Other than that, they 3-0'd GK, which is Joyo and Co. And then they 3-1'd the Falcons.
Falcons for a minute there in Swiss was looking shaky.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously they start off with 2 wins against Secret and Dignitas, and then go down to a worthy K-Corp, and then... Ultimates weren't seen as, they were seen, they're the second team, in NA going into this, and normally Falcons takes down that number 2 NA seed pretty handedly, but not this time. Yeah,
I was honestly really surprised that the Ultimates came out and played like they did, just because, yes, they're 3 great players in LJ, Chronic, and First Killer, but First Killer's known for not showing up on LAN. LJ's never won a tournament ever.
Demons.
Yeah. LJ's never won a tournament. And he's like one of the best offensive players in the game right now. And then Chronic, I've always loved Chronic. He's like one of the best third mans in the game. He's just so consistent, sets his team up well. He's a really good player. So I'm not surprised that Ultimates played so well, but I am surprised.
Gotcha.
Other than that, I mean, NRG, they kind of got smacked by Vitality. Sucks for Gen G that they had to play NRG first round. I knew that was going to be a rough one. NRG still showing ownership over the Ultimates. Gotta love that. 3-1ing them, and then they 3-1 Joyo to make the playoff bracket. The Ultimates only lost to NRG. They had a really close series with Gen G, so that's kind of a rivalry at this point because Gen G beat them to make this tournament. They were down 3-1 in the last regional and then ended up beating them, and then they almost beat them in Swiss. So they got to have some beef. Furia they've been together forever. They always make runs in tournaments, but last year they were in North America, and then they moved back down to South America where they're from. And so the competition down there in the regionals is nowhere near NA or EU, you know? So I thought maybe they came out a little shaky. Yeah, they 3-0'd Chiefs or whatever, some Oceania team. And then they got smacked by Vitality. So I was like, damn, maybe Furia is just not ready for this level of competition yet in the season, you know, because we're first major. But they end up turning up later in the tournament. They barely beat Complexity, which is another South America team playing in North America this year with Razebull, CRR, and Diaz. Really good team, but Furia beat them. And then Dignitas, apparently Jack and them, Furia beat them pretty handedly. So they make it. Falcons only losing to K-Corp and Ultimates. They make it. GK made a pretty crazy run all the way, 5 games. And then Twisted Minds. This is Rise, Atomic, and Nupo. Nupo's the super cracked mechanical young kid from the MENA region. 3-2 against Vitality. That was a really good series. 3-2 they lost to Dignitas. That was a really good series. And then they 3-0'd Complexity and Gen G. So they're kind of shitting on our 3 and 4 seeds in NA.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I was hoping Gen G would show up and make the tournament, but they just kind of got shit.
They were close, man. It was that Ultimate Series, man.
Yeah.
That was their chance to do it. So.
Yeah. But moving on to playoffs.
Bracket.
Yes, sir. So lower bracket round 1, Furia 4-1 Twisted Minds. This is when Furia got back into form. Yans and the boys, they're just, when they're on, they're really nasty. I feel like Furia,
they're bracket play team. Like I feel like, especially like when we were at Champs last year.
Yeah.
They looked like, you know, they were winning Swiss matches, but then they like really brought it in the bracket play.
Yeah, and they feed off competition. Like they're the villain, like shit talkers of the league. Like Yans was laughing at Vitality, which we'll get to that. Yeah. But they're definitely some shit talkers. Like they just don't give a fuck about anyone, and I feel like they love that shit. So 4-1 over Twisted Minds, and then Falcons 4-0 Joyo. Falcons were looking like Falcons. So
yeah, about time.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. Moving up to the upper bracket quarters. So this was crazy. Vitality came out 2-0 against the Ultimates. The second game was 5-0. So I was like, damn. Vitality just made a crazy run in Swiss, and they're up 2-0, just slammed them map 2. I thought for sure this was a 4-0. Like, get them the fuck off the stage, you know. They call a timeout, the Ultimates do. And then they end up winning 4 straight games, like dominantly, and I couldn't believe my eyes. So
that's insane.
I was a hater, and they proved me wrong. The Ultimates looked really good in this series, and Vitality fell to the lower bracket to where they'd have to go play Furia, which we'll get to, and then K-Corp NRG. I thought this would be a better series. I'm kind of surprised NRG even got 2 wins with the way they were playing. K-Corp just kind of started slow, but NRG just never could get comfortable. They looked sloppy the entire series. There were times where they just couldn't get out of their own half, couldn't keep up with the pace, and K-Corp brought it to them. So 4-2, K-Corp looking really good, but NRG moved down to go play Falcons, which we watched the other night. Pretty good series. It was
really good series.
It was a good series. I think both teams looked a little sloppy. Like it was just a lot of bumps and throwing people off their plan, and it was just a bloodbath. 7-game bloodbath.
Almost every goal was like, oh, that's how they scored?
Yeah.
Like, is how it felt.
Yeah, it'd be like a sloppy bump or something, and just weird things happening. Not many like setup plays and stuff. No. Which Falcons are one of the best defensive teams. They're so good at bumping and blocking shots and shit.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Their low boost management is crazy.
Honestly surprising that NRG made it out of that alive, but they take it in 7. And then Furia versus Vitality, another 7-game thriller. Bro. Vitality goes up 2-0 yet again. Furia calls a timeout, wins 2. Vitality calls a timeout. Furia doesn't give a fuck. They win the next one, so they're up 3-2. Then Vitality wins a 1-0 thriller in Game 6, and then they go to Champions Field where they go to overtime, and 43 seconds later, some sloppy goal was scored just off of bumps and stuff. And Furia gets up laughing at them. These teams fucking hate each other, bro. They've had
Finally, dude.
Yeah, they've had some crazy battles last year in Swiss and in the tournaments, and they got 3-0'd. Furia got 3-0'd by Vitality and Swiss this tournament. So to come back and beat them in 7 on the biggest stage in the playoff bracket, I'm sure that felt good.
And this is what Rocket League needs more of more animosity. I know that's an aggressive word to use, but like they just need they need more teams like Furia, where it's not like vulgar or anything like that, but it's just like it's
you
just
need storylines,
disrespect, right? And I completely understand that it comes with the game that you're playing. The more vulgar the game is, the more natural it is.
Gears of War.
Going as most aggressive as Gears of War, then you go COD, and then Apex, and then the less aggressive the game, the less it's rated. All that stuff, I understand.
And there's younger players in this.
Disrespect come in. Yeah, give me some disrespect. Don't get me. I don't need curse words. I don't need screaming across the venue, but show me some more disrespect.
Yeah. We just need some beef. We need some rivalries, some stories,
Yep.
That's what makes COD so fun. The game could be absolutely dog shit, but if Scrap and Draws are playing, we're gonna watch because they fucking hate each other.
Exactly.
But we'll start with the good game here. NRG Ultimates. Obviously, NRG own them. That's their son. Ultimate said, not today.
Not this time.
Not today. NRG should have won this series. There were multiple chances that Game 7 where they could have scored, and they gave up a goal with 14 seconds left to lose 1-0 in Game 7, and it was like an ugly goal. So just bumps in the net, typical NA cheese.
Yeah,
but
we watched that.
I mean, look how low scoring this series is. 2-1, 2-0, 2-1, 2-1.
Max 2 goals.
I mean, it was just a great series, but also a sloppy series at the same time out of both sides. But the Ultimates, they clutch up and move on to grand finals. K-Corp in form, absolutely shitting on Furia 4-0. They look like the best team in the game right now, obviously.
Timeout cheese did not work.
Yeah, timeout cheese did not work at all. Just when Atau and Vatira are on, these dudes' pressure and accuracy is just insane. Teams can't keep up.
Which is crazy to say that because Drawley got MVP.
Yeah, Drawley's great too. But I love watching those two in action. Atau, he's got some mechs. And then Carmine Corp 4-0 shit pumping in the grand finals. First killer comes in second yet again. That's tough.
Yeah.
Maybe one day he'll get one. But K-Corp obviously the best team in the venue. They take it, and overall NA at least made a run,
They did. We
got
top 2.
Yeah, our boys are competing. Yeah. I'm
like whenever.
Go ahead. Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding. I was gonna say, whenever I first started watching 2 years ago, I guess, it was just like, dude, NA is just a step behind.
Yeah.
Like we can't, we barely are making Sundays. We can't get over the hump. But ever since NRG, like, or I guess they were.
The problem was all of our best players were spread out. It was version 1. All of our best players were spread out. Like Torment, Beast Mode, and Calm were on version 1. And Beast Mode was obviously like one of the best players in the nation. And then you had like First Killer on a team with AJ and Sipical, which they're great players, but LJ came about with Space Station. Like all of our best players were like spread out on their own little teams with like decent players with them, but we needed to make super teams if we wanted to compete with Europe. So then we got Daniel on version 1, and then we got Atomic to join them whenever they merged with G2. So like that's a really good team now. Beast Mode, Daniel,
G2.
And Atomic.
That's what they were before.
And then
was G2.
And then First Killer got LJ and Chronic this year. So like that's a super team. Like now we got some teams that can go toe to toe with Vitality and Europe in general. So it's interesting. I do think Complexity is going to be a consistent team that we see on LAN out of NA. I mean, this team, Razebull and CRR got top 4 at Worlds like 2 years ago. So, like, they're really
Yeah.
good players. Apparently, these dudes are just grinders, like, always on the game, playing ranked and shit. So, they'll be good. Reddles and them, I feel like it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath to get back to LAN every time.
It's going to be a grind for them.
Yeah,
because
when they're on, they look great, but they just have some series where they just cannot get in form and get shit on. So, depends on the day with them. But I'm excited going forward. We got one more major in the Worlds. The seasons are short nowadays. And what is our next major? Raleigh, North Carolina, baby. We coming back home. Yes, sir.
Come back to the state.
So, yeah, I think Gen G makes it then.
What's the date?
Let's see. June 26th.
June 26th through 8th.
Okay. And then our first open for Raleigh. Can't find it yet. Can't find it yet. It should be here.
North America? Click on North America.
Oh, yeah. Open for. Whoops. That was backwards. April 18th.
Okay, so 2 weekends from now.
All right. Cool. So looking forward to that. Yeah, that was Rocket League.
That was Birmingham. Definitely looking forward to it. See how the NA team can keep up. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up episode 60 with our pick and bands. Let's wrap up episode 60 with our pick and bands here, where me and Dak pick and band something in recency and dwell on it. I'll go ahead and get us started. My pick is just weddings.
Yeah. How was it?
You know, like when growing up, maybe like in middle school, high school, when you had to go to a family member or close, a family friend's wedding, it was just kind of a nuisance to you,
Yeah.
It wasn't really that enjoyable. But when it's people and like most of the people there are your age group and shit like that, it's so fun, man.
For sure.
Everyone's drinking, everyone's like, yes, let's get on the dance floor now. And it's just a fun time. So yeah, we went to one last night. It was super fun.
Hell yeah.
And it just made me super excited for mine, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for our wedding.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's how the wedding was that I went to earlier this month. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
My pick, much fucking nerdier, RuneScape Dragon Wilds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. So they're making like a co-op survival game, I guess. Open world.
Yeah, dude, it looks really fun.
Yeah.
The world looks sick.
Yeah, there's multiple like biomes and different areas of the world that look completely different, and the art style is a little more modern than old school.
Yeah, I would say so. It almost looks like the new school RuneScape, I would say. But I'm curious what the gameplay is gonna be like. Is it still gonna be high click?
It looked it looked very MMO-ish with like smoother movement. It looked like some World of Warcraft type shit.
Yeah. Good. That's what it needs.
I'm looking forward to that.
Pumped for that.
Yeah, I hope
you
they
think it's
do
gonna
good
be free?
That. I don't know. There will be some sort of membership, something probably like RuneScape.
If not, if it's not free, that's what I would assume as well. But yeah, I'm pumped for that too. My ban is spring weather in Texas. It's probably the same for Oklahoma too, but it's the fucking worst. It's cold one day, rainy the next, and then hot the next because it just rained, and then it rained the day before, so it's humid as fuck, and then it's just an ever cycle, and then maybe we get like a 2-3 day stretch of like 60s 70s nice weather, and then it's just, hey, here's some more shit, and it just keeps going. It's just a gruesome cycle, and it makes for golf, which I love, very, very difficult because the course conditions are not predictable. So but yeah, fucking spring Texas sucks.
I feel that. Just to wrap it up here, my band is Clayster. First off, I want to say, I hope he's doing all right. I don't know if you saw his tweet, but he had like some health issues going on that sounded pretty scary. So I hope he's doing all right. But jokingly, Clayster, because this man tweeted before their match the other day, seen lots of people talking shit, acting like I haven't handcrafted some of the best teams of all time. Can't wait to show you all. Excited to get to work. That's what he said.
You were on the teams, Clay, as a top player.
This is going to go down as one of the worst tweets of all time. So
it's going to age like fucking milk.
Yeah.
Like,
so
it's going to age
RCDs and Priesta had a combined like 58 kills combined. So
it was bad.
Yeah, we'll see, Clay.
Yeah, that's definitely a poor prediction there from Clay. But But yeah, that'll conclude episode 60 for us, guys. Thanks for hanging in with us for this delayed episode, but we made sure to cover a lot in it and make it worthwhile. So we'll be back next week covering the rest of this weekend's matches for COD, and maybe doing a tier list or something along those lines.
Yep.
Throwing in a pick 10 maybe in next episode to add some length to it. But appreciate y'all tuning in for this beefy one. We'll see y'all for episode 61. Deuces.